Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with our last panel discussion of the day, the topic being contract manufacturing, a brand owner's perspective. And to moderate this session, I would like to call on stage none other than one and only founder of CMPL, Vicky Menezes. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him, please. He deserves a thunderous applause. Come on. Everybody out there, I think even the ones at your stalls, you need to give him a huge round of applause. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to invite on stage our panelist, Mr. Varun Kapoor, MD, Kapco International. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Varun Kapoor, please? Next, I would like to invite Mr. Nikhil Nanda, MD, JHS Svendgaard. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him, please. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us here today. Vicky, over to you.
Hello, mic check. Am I audible? Great. So firstly, thank you, our dearest exhibitors, visitors who've given us a chance to showcase what contract manufacturing is all about and our vision for the industry. Also like to thank Nikhil Nandaji and Varunji who've accepted this invitation to join on the panel for this wonderful session on contract manufacturing to understand what brand owners seek, what expertise you require from a manufacturer's point of view as well. So let's begin. Nikhilji, just to understand the role of contract manufacturers, how this has evolved over the last few years, the changing dynamics.
Sure. Hi. Thank you, Vicky. I still remember 3 years back, I think, when we started the journey and you spoke about setting up something on lines of what internationally is already happening regarding contract manufacturing and private label. There have been multiple shows. To have something similar in India, and all of us can see here, it's a fabulous job done. Something which has come up probably to compete with international exhibitions very soon, I must say that. So kudos to you and your team for that.
Thank you.
Coming to contract manufacturing, when I started the journey about 25 years back, it used to be a very non-glamorous kind of a job to get into manufacturing. Kids used to think about doing something which is a lot more glamorous, and there were different avenues which were opening up because it had been a few years since liberalization had set in. However, I realized from a Taiwanese company which was manufacturing computers for most of the brands, and at that point of time there used to be a big computer brand called Compaq. And they used to make manufacture for them, for Dell, and HP, HCL, all the international brands that were available at that point of time. And in 2 years' time, the company was bigger than some of the brand owners themselves. And that's when I realized the potential of contract manufacturing. And as we can see today, most of you would know about Winstron and Foxtran, which manufacture iPhone mobiles. And this year they're going to be producing iPhones worth 50,000 crores, which is about 16% of Apple's total consumption worldwide, while the India consumes only 1.5%. So rest of it goes for export market. That's the huge potential. Each one of these companies is more than $100 billion in sales, despite just being a contract manufacturer. So this is the evolution which we have seen over the years, and I see most of the new age brands, especially the brands which are on the marketplaces, internet, they all look at outsourcing the products. None of them wants to ever manufacture a product. And since we as contract manufacturers over the years have acquired the knowledge, working with the old school brands, if I may call that, we are able to kind of bridge the gap between their knowledge base and the product development that they need in order to market the product. we are able to formulate, we are able to design, we are able to give them a product which they want to position on the marketplace in the internet space and age of today. So this is precisely what I think the journey has been. I'm sure my co-panelist Varun would have a lot more to add, and of course Vicky, who's been dealing with so many other brands and so many other categories while we specialize in the oral care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Basically, selling and manufacturing are two entirely different things altogether. I mean, I would suggest brands should focus more on marketing and leave the manufacturing part on the contract manufacturers. See, you cannot do both the things together properly. I mean, you need to have focus on one thing. R&D itself.
Does it happen? Is it?
Yeah, we've observed at times it happens. Okay. R&D alone is such a big thing. I mean, you really need people, you need specialized people, which a normal startup or a new brand cannot afford. So you need support from contract manufacturers to make it big.
But do brands allow you to take that decision, or is there more?
It's entirely a brand decision, but okay. This is the first service which contract manufacturer needs to offer is R&D. That's the first thing first you need to create a product, then you need to manufacture.
Correct.
First thing is creation of a product, which is pure and pure R&D.
Correct.
So R&D is I think, the most important thing, and contract manufacturer should offer R&D at the first phase.
I agree with him to a certain extent. The new age brands definitely look at that. The old age brands still rely on their own R&D and their own...
Absolutely true.
Huge... research that they've done over the years, and they're very particular about every ingredient and before changing it. While the new age brands, they're very, very ready to experiment, very ready to...
Quick. They want to launch a product in a month's time, which is not the right thing to do. We always suggest our brands, our new age brands, to do proper stability studies. You need time to see the product, how it's performing. You need to do stability studies. You need to see efficacy. You need to do efficacy studies. These things are very important, which I think new brands should focus on. And that's where the contract manufacturers come into the thing. And
I guess the millennials have that 30 seconds time span on attention. So you need to get their attention in those 30 seconds. So the product has to reflect the same.
So in terms of need for a contract manufacturer, when a brand or a D2C brand is seeking one, how do they look, or how do they source a contract manufacturer? Because when I started off this journey, I met a lot of them just to understand how do they look out for contract manufacturers. And one of the common answers which I received was we do a Google search, or if we get a reference from somewhere, or in case we know some of our connects. These were vaguely 2 or 3 common, kind of answers which I got.
So most of the new age brands which have come to us, they always come saying, okay, we picked up a Unilever product, we picked up a Dabur product, and we saw the manufacturer's name and we contacted you.
So that's exactly what we do as well. I mean, in terms of the exhibitors here, that's how I've kind of picked. I've literally gone to hypermarkets, supermarkets, picked up products, clicked photographs, and my wife as well, who's helped me with the back-end research and data analyst. So that's what she's done, getting me the data, the details of the contact, and that's where we've connected individually one-on-one.
Or you just go on Amazon, check the best sellers.
Sab ki hai, sir.
Turn the box around, you'll see the label, you'll see who's manufacturing it, you give him a call, and that's how it works.
Correct. So in terms of when the challenges from a contract manufacturer side, when a brand is trying to be, do you face maybe some rigidity in terms of what a brand owner is seeking for, and if there's a discrepancy or a gap in what you intend to do? Is there issues like this, and how do you address this?
See, basically the changeover that I've noticed is the old or the classic brands, I should call them, they are very volume driven. While the new age brands, they come to you and they say, okay, we want 5,000 units, we want 2,000 units, we want 3,000 units. We want to check if it works. And even if it works, they still want to have another variant, another SKU with another 5,000 units. They don't want to stick to growing volumes in one particular product. They want to keep adding SKUs with smaller volumes, increasing the prices or probably the profitability also. So that's a different generation altogether, and they're more open to trying new products. And we need to be a lot more versatile in terms of developing the new formulations.
So, Varun, just from your experience, if I intend to enter into this industry as a contract manufacturer, what are the things that I would need to keep in mind before I think of the decision of entering into this industry? Any 3 or 4 key points?
First of all, let's. Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So, for example, I've got a manufacturing facility.
Got it.
I'm doing my own brands.
Okay.
Or I may be a startup. I've got a funding.
Yeah.
I'm looking to set up, a factory or enter into this industry of a contract manufacturer. It could be in the food space or, let's say, personal care space that you are into. So what are the 3 or 4 important points that I would need to keep in mind if at all I want to enter into this?
Most important thing, never compromise on the hardware. Buy the best machinery, follow the rules, follow the law, follow the regulatory. Don't do any shortcuts. Don't make any shortcuts in this. Buy the best of the machinery possible. Never compromise on the hardware.
So then focus more on the capital inventory first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If your machines are good, if your setup is good, automatically you're going to get good clients. You'll pass all the audits. Never compromise on quality.
Nikhil ji, your points?
हमने जब किया था तो हमारा thought process ये था कि what is the market size of a product, who all are the manufacturers there, what are the locational advantages that we have if we set up a factory in Jammu or in Baddi or in South. और toothbrushes पे जब हमने initially identify किया था तो हमें ये पता लगा the market penetration is only 49%. And the average usage of a toothbrush in India in 1997 was 11 months. और अभी भी अगर आप देखें बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो प्लास्टिक बच जाता है, ब्रिसल्स खत्म हो जाते हैं पर ब्रश नहीं छोड़ते. So we realized this is the potential of the market on one side. The other side is, as a country, the highest production that we do is of children. So obviously, toothbrushes is directly proportional to the number of people that are there in the country. So this is the second reason why we identified. And then, of course, when area-based exemptions came, initially we were based out of Delhi. We moved the facilities to Himachal. And that's when a lot of traction came in terms of big brands looking at some huge cost savings. They moved their manufacturing to us, even at times shutting down their own facility because the ROI was like 16 months, 18 months, 20 months. So these are some of the key, I would say, issues which you need to identify if you need to get into the contract manufacturing space. And yes, most important, you need to have the bent of mind for manufacturing. That's a very non-glamorous kind of a field to move around on the shop floor.
Well taken, sir. In terms of reshaping contract manufacturing partnerships, have you seen a change out there with what it was, let's say, over the last 5-10 years in terms of what a brand seeks and in terms of your partnership points of discussion or agreements, NDAs, foreclosures, etc.? Is there any change out there? Or do you see more flexibility? Are they more open, or is it still the old kind of school which we're talking about? Varunji, your thoughts?
I think still the old school.
So they're not flexible at all?
Not really.
Well, my experience has been more or less that the big companies with classical brands They don't want another similar size company to probably be available or probably be produced in the same facility. However, they are not so particular about when it comes to the new age small brands. They are more flexible. Okay, you want to do for, say, if you're producing for Unilever, then you cannot be doing for Procter & Gamble. But if you're doing for Unilever, you could probably be producing for a Mamaearth or somebody like that. They're more flexible in that context.
From a contract manufacturing perspective, how important is the role of packaging in your product? Is that something which brand owners kind of give you the insights, inputs, or as a contract manufacturer, do you also provide feedback in terms of the new innovation, sustainability, and all of those factors which are in trend?
See, we as a contract manufacturer, we definitely get to know a lot of insight into different brands, what they're doing. So we develop a data bank where we can probably share with, of course, keeping in mind the confidentiality agreement with our existing customers, we can share the knowledge base with them. But per se, your question about packaging is more or less has 99% everything to do with the brand owners. They decide how to position it, and packaging plays a very important role in that.
You can just suggest or recommend different vendors. The final call is with the brand only. They take a call.
So in terms of the new trends that we've seen in sustainability, with I think Mamaearth and even Wow, I think have also launched a lot of the biodegradable, sustainable products. So is that something which was in discussion with you? Did they have your say in it as well, or was it something which they took a call on?
They took a final call, and it was proposed by the tube manufacturer. Okay. It was their new innovation, which they were offering to a lot of brands, and I think Wow was the first one to pick it up, and we did all the stability studies first because it's an absolutely new polymer altogether. It's paper infused in between two layers of plastic. So so we had to do all the stability studies whether our face wash is compatible in that particular tube. So we did a stability study for about 4 to 5 months, and when everything was okay, we went ahead with it. But the final call was with the brand.
Do you see any new trends shaping up in terms of contract manufacturing? Any new categories that you see as possible development areas?
Well, this is something very, very new, but like they say, fusion food, we are getting inquiries from some of our new age customers about fusion products where they want to probably mix two different ingredients.
The fusion tadka.
And probably try to create. So we're still working on it, still in the developmental stage.
And waterless series is something new, which is I think going to be the future, where less water, less plastic, so you can be more sustainable. So more concentrates, a little bit of a DIY at home. You take the concentrate, go home, add water into it. Like Godrej was the first one to launch their magic hand wash. Similarly, I think in a couple of months you'll see body washes, shampoos like that. Tablets. Small effervescent stuff you'll see in the skincare industry also.
Since Varunji and Nikhilji also have a busy schedule, so I'd like to just open the discussion for the audiences in case you'd like to ask any questions to the gentlemen on the panel.
Anyone? So I guess we've been good speakers.
Yeah, there's no questions.
We took care of all your queries. Yeah, that could be the other option. Nobody is too keen to interested.
Yeah. They've got.
The session was so good they didn't have to ask any questions.
thank you, the audience. Thank you, Nikhil ji and Varun ji, for
Thank you,
being
sir.
on the
Thank
panel.
you.
Thank
We had a
you,
short
thank you,
and
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
quick
Thank you,
session.
everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause to our moderator, Vicky, and a panelist, Varun and Nikhil. Come on, a huge round of applause for them. Thank you so much. Sir, please be on stage. Nikhil. We have a small token of appreciation for each of you. And I'm going to ask Vicky to do the honors, of course. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for them, please. I can't hear the claps. What happened? Thank you. Thank you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come towards the end of the CMPL Expo 2022, the conference part. The stalls will still be on for some time. We hope each and every one of you present here had an enriching time listening to our speakers and also sharing your thoughts during breaks with all the attendees. I hope you all had a fruitful time visiting all the stalls. We would like to thank our distinguished delegates, our panelists, our speakers, and each one of you present here for giving in your precious time and making this expo a success. A very big thank you to our partners and exhibitors for their constant support. We would also like to thank our event partners and Geo Convention Center for their assistance. A very, very big thank you to CMPL, that's Vicky and team, for bringing in the CMPL Expo to us year after year. I think they deserve a huge round of applause. Give it up for them, please. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you out there, come on, everybody. Let's give it up for CMPL. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is MC Sherleen Fernandez signing off duty. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.